2, we're going to start to look at the graph of a tangent function and then start to find the period based on the number of cycles, and then looking at our window of our graph to figure out how many cycles we're dealing with in a certain interval. So each graphing calculator screen shows the interval from 0 to 2 pi. So this would be like if I went into my window on my calculator, I put a 0 as my x min, I put a 2 pi as my x max. So that's my window I'm dealing with, 0 to 2 pi. What is the period of each graph? So with tangent, remember, period is still the length of one cycle. So we're talking about one cycle of that graph. How long does it travel in that one cycle? Now the cycles of tangent are looking a little different. So a cycle is going to be this tangent shape that's got a line that's approaching an asymptote going down, and then it's also got a line approaching an asymptote going up, and then the cycle starts over. So what the calculator is doing is it's approaching asymptotes at these positions, and we'll talk about how to find those asymptotes and then graphing these. But there's your asymptotes in the graph. Now, as far as the cycles, a cycle is a complete curve where it's going down and then going up. So this would be considered one cycle. This would be considered one cycle. This would be considered half of a cycle. I'm going to call it 0.5. And then this would be considered half of a cycle, which is 0.5. So all in all, if we add that up, we've got a total of 3 cycles. And those 3 cycles occur between 0 and 2 pi. So if I want to find the length of one cycle, I'm going to take the whole distance, 2 pi, and divide it by the number of cycles that occur there. So I'm going to get 2 pi over 3. So there would be my period. So that tells me one of these cycles, so between those 2 asymptotes, I've got a distance of 2 pi over 3. I'm just taking the total, 2 pi, divided by those 3 cycles. Heading into part B, so we still have the same window. It's starting at 0, and we're finishing at 2 pi. This would be a situation where our graph is reflected. So now we're seeing that the tangent curve is going down, and then it's going from up to down, continuing. But again, we'll count. We have a half of a cycle right here in that region. We've got one cycle right here. We've got another cycle right here. We've got another cycle right here. And then we've got another half cycle right here. So we count up, half plus 3 is going to equal 4 total cycles. And same thing, if we have 2 pi distance, we're going to take 2 pi divided by 4, which gives me a cycle period length, a cycle length of pi over 2. So that would be the length of my period for part B. So if we're given that interval, we can take the number of cycles, divide it into that interval, 0 to 2 pi, tells us the length of just one of those cycles.